Okay. So we really should see it printed 3 times. This third time was done by the function call. And we can prove that by defining a second list and calling the show function. Let's list our favorite movies. We like movies like Superman v. Batman. Nah. Okay. Star Wars 23. That's my favorite movie. And also, we want to do The Godfather. What's another great movie? Rambo. Fourth Blood, Part 12. Alrighty. Yeah, on High School Musical 28. You can put whatever you want there. I'm going to go with High School Musical. All right, and then we're going to show the movies. Oops, I typed show apartment, but that's not what that list is called. Our list is called movies. And there we go. We listed our movies. So since I have 4 movies, I can access elements 0, 1, 2, and 3. If I try to access element 4, it's going to give me an error. Print movies at 4. I run that, it generates an error. It says index out of range. Now in other languages, if you try to go to -1, it's also considered out of range because it's less than 0. But Python is a strange beast. If I say -1 there and run it, guess what it's going to print? It's going to print the best movie of all time, which is High School Musical. There we go. So -1 is that one. That's -2. That's -3. And that's -4. That's just a quirk of Python. And why did they do that? Because sometimes you just want to know what the last element of a list is. And just saying element number -1 is a lot easier than saying, oh, the length of the list -1. You know, it's less typing. Did everybody get this down? If not, I want to correct your syntax errors before we go. Anybody need help? Oh, when I changed these to curly braces, I broke it. Change them back to square braces. Just backspace that one, do that.
Oh, we made a function.
Oh,
To show.
same on this one. Yeah.
It was like, wait, why is it? Why is it looking for I think I like defining functions better.
Yeah. So, if you had a list of things, what might you want to do with it? If you wanted to print out a list of movies, you might want to either print it by showtime, which we haven't recorded, or you just might want to do it alphabetically. So is there a way to print that alphabetically? Yes, there is.
Min and max.
There is a simple function call we can use. So list values, several ways to create a new list. The simplest is to enclose the statements in square braces, like that. Here they have 2 lists. accessing elements. You access them by the index value, just like we've been doing here. You can use either a hard-coded literal, a constant like that, or you can use a variable, as long as that variable is an integer. If you try to do something funny like access element 1.1, that's not going to work. Because, yeah. Game over, insert coin. Okay, there we go. That did not work. If you want to iterate through a list in an easier fashion than using a while loop, because a while loop requires three things. It requires us to do that. It requires us to put our condition there. And then it requires us to update that. But a for loop can shorten that. We might want to do this. For m in movies, print m. That's a lot shorter than what we did for this while loop. It's 2 statements rather than 4. So what this means, if we compare it to the syntax of a while loop, let me rewrite. I'm going to put a for loop of the apartments right underneath the while loop so that I can just talk about them. I don't care if you do this as well. For A in apartment, print A. That does the same exact thing as these 4 lines, but it eliminates the need to have a counter. We don't have to do that. We don't have to do that. We don't have to do that. So it's kind of much more fail-safe. Instead, what we're doing is we're saying for every element in the apartment list, copy it into the A variable so I can print it. And so it naturally knows. Give me the first one. Put it into A. And then do that. Print it. Give me the second one. Put it in A. And do that. Give me the third one. Put it in A and do that. So if I wanted to make this list exactly like the for loop, it would look more like this. This will be the last time I write a while loop for this apartment complex. I is equal to 0 while I is less than, I'm going to do it the right way though. I'm going to say while I is less than the length of the apartment list. That's better than hard coding for, because what if it was, we change the number of apartments. A is equal to apartment I, print A, and then I plus plus. I plus equals 1. These 2 things do exactly the same thing. But you see what this one's doing, right? It's stepping through the apartment list, and each item in turn gets copied into a variable named A so we can print it out. That's exactly what this one does. Functionally, there's absolutely no difference between that one and that one, but this one sure is nicer to write.
And it could be any variable that you put.
Yeah, we could put for Alfred. That is not how you spell Alfred. There we go. Or for person in apartment. Print the person. Try to choose a good variable. For name in the apartment, print the name. That's not bad. I like that one. Copy your show function or make a new one that will print out all the elements in L using a for loop rather than, so call it show2 and still pass in L, but change it to a for loop. I'll give you a minute to do that. And down here you can still see the syntax of the for loop. Kind of gives it away. can see that over the monitors. It doesn't matter. We're just rewriting show to. And since it's accepting a variable, we could send it any list that we wanted to. We could send the apartment list, we could send the movie list.
What is the if you use list, because when I typed in list it was purple, what does that do?
Yeah, list is a function or a keyword. And I'm not really sure what it does. Let's go Google that. Python list keyword. It's not a keyword. Is it a variable name? Don't type it, I'm typing. List x. X equals 3, 4. Can we do that? Huh. A is equal to, and I'm just typing this, don't type this, 1, 2, 3. And then let's figure out the type of item that A is. It's a list. So it's actually a, just like int or float, it's another data type. I'm not quite sure how to take advantage of it though. Okay, so I'm going to do for, and I don't want to use the word list because it shows up as purple when I type it, just like you noticed. So I'm going to use a different variable name. I think I'll call it item. For item in L. You don't have to call it item. You probably already chose another variable name.
Do we have to put
Print
parentheses?
item. And you don't need the parentheses. Why did I do that? Because I teach Java and C++ on the alternate days, and I get confused. There we go. It doesn't hurt, but it doesn't help. There we go. That's the function rewritten to use a for list, a for loop. And again, I'll note that I think this syntax is a lot cleaner than this. I'd rather type this than that. So there are all sorts of things you can do with lists besides print them. You can add items to them, you can remove items from them, you can insert items into the middle of them, you could sum them all up. Let's see if we can find a few of those. We're going to go back to our page here. Oh, I guess we didn't actually test show to. So down here, after I declare my apartments, I'm going to do show to and then pass in apartment, just to make sure it works. Yeah, I didn't get a syntax error, so apparently it works. The only drawback for using a for loop is maybe sometimes you like seeing that number. And you don't have access to the index number, you just have access to the item. Whereas when we did a while loop, we also know what the counter is. So if we wanted to, we could change our while loop to print out the counter and the list. So what I did is I added I comma there, so that every time I do show, it prints the numbers involved. 0, 1, 2, 3. You could not do that with that for loop. You don't need to make that change. I'm just demonstrating one difference between a while loop and a for loop. While loop, you have access to your counter variable. The for loop, since there is no counter variable that you see, you don't have access to it. if you were going to flowchart this, it would look just like our while. Except we're doing prints, so that should do like that. But we have a lot of text here for, you know, I, N, L, print, I, item, you know, whatever. For item, N, L, print, item. Just like that. That's a for loop. I know you can't read this. You just put this for statement here. Now, flowcharting was invented long before for statements were. So, I say that about a lot of things. But in this case, it actually follows, you know, the same syntax pretty cleanly. There are a few things that you try to flowchart that don't fit in with what we've already seen. I need to calm down. My boss was here supervising to see if I was doing a good job teaching for my review. He left, so now we can party.
I wouldn't miss using home. Like, was he like sitting in the back of the booklet or something?
Yeah. I need to just bookmark this dang page, don't I? Okay. So that's the syntax of the for statement. This demonstrates declaring a list. This guy's cheerful, isn't he? Horsemen is equal to war, famine, pestilence, and death. Now, print them out. Yeah, that works.
Oh, those are the 4 horsemen.
Yeah. Yeah. So, he's doing this slightly different than we did. He's declaring a list of numbers and then using that number as an index. If you're going to do that, you may as well use a while. I cannot think of a good reason for using a for loop if you're going to word it like that. But that works. You could do that. That's declaring a list on the fly. I'm going to scroll down all the way to the bottom and demonstrate that. For x in, and then I give myself a list of numbers. 100, 200, 300, 400, colon, print x. And it printed 100, 200, 300, 400. So even though we didn't have that data saved in a list variable, we did not do a is equal to that or something like that, you can declare a list on the fly like that. And that's what the author did in order to print out the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. This is showing a better way. Rather than using index values, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, he just did it the way we've been doing it now. For h in horsemen, print h. To get the length of the list, we use the len function, and we did that in at least one of our while loops. The length of this list is 4. 0, 1, 2, 3. If you want to see if something is in the list, you use the in word. Is this item in the list? So, go back here. We're going to see if Mary still lives in our apartments. So if Mary in apartment, print Mary still lives there. But we know she doesn't. Else, colon, print Mary not found. We replaced her with Mariah. So if Mariah in apartment, print Mariah still lives there. print Mariah not found. So it said Mary not found, but Mariah still lives there, which is correct, since we replaced element 2 with Mariah. So what have we seen so far? I'm just going to make some notes to myself. I'm going to put 3 quotes down here so that everything I type underneath it is quotes. We've seen declaring lists. You declare a list like this. A is equal to, and then you put some stuff between the brackets. 1, 2, 3. There's a very short list of numbers. Now let's do a short list of words. Red, blue, green. We've seen how to print a list. For color in B, colon, print B. Excuse me, print color.
Yeah, 'cause that's what I did on the first one. I put print L, and it actually gave me like the list.
Yeah, it prints you the whole list if you do that 4 times. So iterate through the list. That's how we iterate through the list. That's how we declare the list. How do we get the length of the list? X is equal to len of B, our colors list. In which case that would be 3. If we wanted to print those 3 items out, we can print color 0, which would be red. We can print color 1, which would be blue. We can print color 2. You know, I'm not sure why I put all this in quotes. And I could actually ungreen text all this, because I'm just typing in code anyways. And that would be green. And what does it do if I use a negative number as the index? What if I print out B -1? Which one is it going to print out?
Green.
Yeah, it's going to go to the last item. Green. -1 means the last item in the list. And then we use the in keyword. If, now let's do this. Our new favorite color is equal to purple. If C is in the color list, print yay, purple found. Else, print drats, no purple. So that's an illustration of the use in to see if an element is in the list. List operations. You can add lists together. Right now I have a list of movies and I have a list of apartments. I'm going to just call it stuff. Stuff is equal to movies plus apartments plus the colors. Every list of strings that we have defined so far. And then, for every string in our stuff, we're going to print that out. Print S. And so it printed them all. I mean, since we're printing everything over and over and over, it's kind of hard to pick out. But Drat's No Purple was that. And so everything here is first the movies, and then the apartment dwellers, and then our three colors. So we added three lists together. Also called concatenation. Cool enough. What else can we do with lists? I'm looking for sort. I haven't seen that in our PowerPoint here yet, but we will. Okay. Since this was kind of serving as our notes down here, we didn't show how to change the value. Since purple was not in our list, we're going to change one of the elements to a list. We have R, G, and B. Which color do we like the least and want to replace with purple? How about the blue, the last one? So, colors number 2, or heck, let's just get nah, I'm going to leave that. Whenever I say let's get fancy, that's kind of trouble. Is equal to purple. And now go and copy those 4 statements, the yay purple found, Drat's No Purple, and paste it there. And this time it'll say yay purple was found, because it now is in the list.
I spelled purple correctly.
So let's declare a list of values and then sum them up. There is actually a keyword for summing, but we're going to write a loop that does the summation. We're going to call it data, and we're going to say that our data values are 100, 90, 80, 70, and 60 for whatever purpose. Now for every element, let's declare our tally variable, our total variable. So total is equal to 0. And then for every data element for every D in data, add that item to total. Total plus equals D. And then print our data, print the word total equals, and then print our total. If you print a list and you use the variable name, it prints out the entire list in one line, which is kind of cool. That's what you were seeing. And here we go. When it ran, it printed the list, because that's the first thing I told it to print, and then it added them all up. And how did it add them up? We have a sum loop here. This is a summation loop. I'm going to add a comment. Summation loop. I think I'll put that comment before the word data. There we go. Doesn't matter if you do or not.
Could you run that again?
Yeah, sure.
I don't know how to draw that.
Sure, let me look.
This is a print.
You put your print statement inside your loop, unindent the print statement. Yeah. think I went too fast. I'm going to scroll this back up a little bit. So the last thing we want to do is to find out how to add to a list. Well, we still haven't done sorting. So list sort Python ought to be easy. It's a method. Let's see. Okay. So right now our movies are not sorted unless it was pure coincidence. No. So I can come down here and do movies.sort. And then when I print the movies out, I'm just going to use the print statement, not even write a loop. I'm going to print the entire list. Now they are sorted, whereas they were not before. So The Godfather wound up being last, even though G comes before the rest, and that's just because we put the word the in front of it. If we put Godfather, comma, the, it'd show up in the right place.
So could you, without going back to where you made the list at, could you add like another?
Yeah, let's figure out how to add a new item to the list. All right. It is the word append. However, there's another keyword called extend. Oh, I see. Okay. So we want to add some new favorite movies. Movies.append. Minions 12. Movies.append. Sharknado.
The acting is so terrible.
And then we'll print the movies list again. Now that movie list is no longer sorted, so we would have to call movies.sort again.
Oh, okay.
What if we wanted to insert an item at the beginning? That's a strange way of adding. right, if we just look at the members of the list class, we can figure it out. We have seen append. Then there's extend. Extend copies all the items in a second list to the first list. That'd kind of be like doing movies is equal to movies plus, and then giving it another list. Then there's insert, where you insert some data at position specified. So if we want to put a new movie at the very beginning of our list, we would do movies.insert at position 0 Godzilla versus Bambi. And let's print our movies one more time to make sure that Godzilla versus Bambi is at the front of the list where it should be. It is.
So it doesn't replace what
Right, it doesn't replace it. If you wanted to replace it, you would do movies at position 0 is equal to, and then you could type something. Let's say that Bambi deserves first billing. There we go.
Wasn't that a real movie one time?
Yeah, there really is like a 2-minute long animated short.
Really?
Yeah. Guess who wins? No. Alrighty, so after all that, this is our movie list. It's obviously not sorted, but we could do that. You know how to do that in a single call. We inserted into element 0 to get that number there.
Okay, insert, got it.
And if you insert it into an element that's wasn't called in the original list, would you get an error?
Well, like what if in our apartment list I did insert 1, comma Billy. Our new list would say Jeff, Billy, Susan, Mariah, Joe. So the index number means insert it before this item, before that number. So if I did insert apartment 3 and I said insert Billy, then it would say Jeff, Susan, Mariah, and then Billy
And then
would go there.
It would still say Joe.
And it would still say Joe. It does not replace it. To replace it, you do what I did down here with Bambi versus Godzilla. You just specify that number. So that inserts into the beginning of the list. Oh, wait, no, that doesn't. This one does. This changes the first element of the list. This one appends a new value to the end of the list. Okay, now we're going to write a loop that lets somebody enter data. My brain just froze. Okay. I think it'll be as easy as this. Let's make a list called prices, but it's not going to have anything in it yet. Now let's write a while loop, and we're just going to run until the user tells us to quit. Print, enter a price or -1 to quit. P is equal to input, but then we have to convert it. So P is equal to float P. Now we have a number we can append it to our list. Prices.append that new value. But if they entered a -1, we want to break. So before that append, I actually want to put an if statement. If P is less than 0 or is equal to -1, break. That'll get us out of the loop. And then let's print our prices to make sure that it looks good. All right. Sorry, I covered it up. Let me uncover it. Enter price or -1 to quit, 100, 200, 1,000, 1, 25, -1. And there we go. It printed out our list. It printed out short form because I didn't write a loop to print it out. So our homework assignment is going to be based on this.
Yeah. Says float must be a string or argument must be a string or a number.
Did you skip this line? P is equal to input.
No. Oh, I didn't put the parentheses. Right.
Oh, yeah. Always put the parentheses after the word input. You're not the only one to have done that. Okay. So using the code above, I want you to A, write a for loop that will print all the items out. And then B, write a for loop that will sum all the values and store the results in a variable called total. And then print that total. Oh, and before we do A, we may as well sort our data.
So sort it and then print it?
Yeah. Or we could print it after we sort it. Yeah, let's do that. I'm going to change this a little bit. B is going to be sort the list and print it again. I'll give you a hint. You just use prices.sort. And then C is write a for loop that will sum all the values, store the results, called total, and then D will print that total. So that's not too hard, really. Correct me if I'm wrong, but we're not here Wednesday.
You're wrong.
I think we are.
We are here Wednesday?
Yeah, because
Yeah,
fall,
Thursdays.
fall break is only.
Oh, we don't get a fall break on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Only you Friday students. And how many people here have classes on Friday?
No one.
No one. So,
Well, Thursday, yeah? You don't have
yes,
Thursday.
Thursday, yeah. That doesn't help us poor Monday, Wednesday guys. Alrighty. So that'll be our homework. Let's make a Dropbox for everything we've typed so far.
Oh, because it's an. Oh, it's reprinting. Yeah, reprinting these.
I don't know, I was gonna take a picture of it.
No, I don't think.
Maybe.
Did I scroll past something you want to?
Oh, no, just continue. I'll just wait till you.
Yeah, because that's weird. Yes, you minded this. I think you do it right now.
No, I have to go ask you questions.
Yeah, no.
Alright guys, there's an in class 12,
If you're adding too little,
and we'll make this homework due Tuesday night of next week.
see, you're.
So that'll be homework
you're
6.
adding to the list. I'm just doing it. you're sorting it. Yeah, but I think you're supposed to sort it,
Alright, so after you finish, okay.
and I don't think you're supposed to print it. Yeah, you're not supposed to print it every time the wild. Like you see.
I see.
You're not trying to print the list every time.
I see. I keep doing that. That's what I did on the first one. I keep putting the print statement in a while and screwing it all.
Well, I think we're still using the price. No, no, it was, I think it was like price, I think. The one you said was, even after that, we did a price listing. Oh, I see that.
Yeah, there's a Dropbox 12 for the end class.
What was in class 11?
I don't know, did I skip 11?
Oh, no?
No.
I thought it submitted it. I guess I did.
It is 11, I believe.
Well, just go in idle and do recent files, and you'll,
I think I did on my laptop last
Ah,
time.
okay.
I'll probably
All
have
right.
to still submit it.
One of my KDs are printing. I need one.
What?
I don't know.
Yeah, this side's hurting on me too.
Except it's not
Is
like
it tight?
It's not like the back end. It's like that here.
Oh, right here hurts on me. Back's tight.
all right, so in the homework file will also be all the notes, everything we've typed in that you're gonna upload into the Dropbox, just in case you wanna review it without going back and finding your own submission. All right, guys, I will see y'all on Monday.
Yeah, I need. I'm pretty sure whenever people start punching in, they're like, "Hey, you need water."
Yes, sir.
Just want to let you know next Wednesday I won't be here.
Okay.
My wife's going to be delivering our twins.
Cool.
So.
I hope it happens on schedule and that everything happens
Yeah,
perfectly.
she's having a C-section.
Yeah.
So she's going in at 9:30, and then 11:30 they're going to start the operation. So I just wanted to give you a heads up because
Yeah,
I know
sure.
I missed a few days due to my surgery.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
So
Yeah,
I'll
okay.
send you an email or whatever. Just remind me.
Cool. All right, thanks.
Thank you.
You just weren't doing it. I mean, you were on your computer a lot anyway.
No, I'm pretty sure I did it, but I was on my laptop. I didn't check it.
If you can't find it, I know you were here. Just upload a document saying that you were here.
Okay.
Yeah.
And with you. Cool, 'cause I need to get my grade for this class, if you don't mind.
You made an A on the exam, did you not?
I made an A, like a 96.
Okay. Really?
It's like I need to like make a pencil pouch or something like that because I have my pens, but I always
Yeah.
have to dig inside my. It takes me like 5 minutes to find one.
And then by the time I find one, I don't need it. Somebody else already has one. And then if I'm sitting in the first 3 rows in class, but I sit right there, so yeah, I sit in row 2.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't know if it was applicable to this class, but I'm glad I'm short, or else I would not have noticed that.
Just had to go get some more signatures. I forgot about my US history teachers. Thank you so much.
Sure thing.